Welcome to Curious Goldfish, a podcast community where music and curiosity come together through interesting conversations with the music makers of our world. I'm your host, Jason English. You can find Curious Goldfish in all the major podcast and social media platforms, and of course, we have all of our content on our website, curiousgoldfish.com. Wyatt, so good to see you here in Florida.
I'm glad to be in Florida, away from the snow.
So we both live in Georgia. You live in the sort of the northern part. Is it Hiawassee?
Hiawassee, Georgia, yes.
All right.
Right there on the North Carolina line.
Okay. Well, that's it's so beautiful up here. This is a different kind of beauty. So we're here at the 30A Songwriters Festival. How many of these have you been to?
I believe this is number 7.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
First one was in 18 and then skipped the COVID year. So
Yeah.
did 3 in a row and then this is 4 in a row. So
Okay.
I love it. I hope I get to keep coming back.
Yeah. Why do you keep coming back? What do you enjoy most about it?
I like the community they've built around this festival. I love that, you've got a lot of the same patrons really supporting specific artists and going to all those shows. And now I've gotten my own little group of fans that kind of come to my sets. And so it feels like I feel like an actual 30A artist. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but I feel that way.
That's good.
So.
That's good. All right. What are you looking forward to the most this weekend, this year in 2025?
Well, at this particular festival, a program that I've been a part of is being featured as a presentation at the Rep Theater on Sunday. It's the Beyond Bars Prison Outreach.
Oh, wow.
That the CAA has facilitated. They're bringing songwriters into this prison up at Walton State Correctional Institution, or Walker. What's the name of it? Walton Correctional Institute up in Defuniak Springs.
Okay.
We're doing. We did a training last August. 14 inmates. 3 or 4 songwriters went in, and we basically worked 14 songs out of these inmates and prepared them for this huge concert at the end of the 2 weeks. And then I'll be going in April to do my own session with Jessica Sharman. She'll be my partner in that. And,
all right.
And we're excited what the CA is doing. I mean, it's a great art program. It's a wonderful program dorm at this particular prison. These inmates have earned the right to be able to take this class, and most of them are musically inclined, and they write songs. I mean, it's just seeing the power of their own forgiveness of themselves was pretty powerful. I mean, what I noticed about it is, like, these men they've come to terms with what they're capable of doing, because they realize they're capable of terrible things, and teaching them how to pull a song out of them and working with that shows them something else that they're capable of.
That's amazing.
And so they're capable of creating something beautiful that makes somebody feel beautiful. And so that was really inspiring for myself.
How long have you been doing that?
Well, a year ago, last festival, I was invited to the final concert. My friend Caitlin Cannon, who is a singer-songwriter and featured at the festival this weekend, she basically created the program, created the curriculum, and took us through training. So to introduce me to the training, she brought me on last year to see the concert that they did. And then we went to training in August, spent 3 weeks down here. And August is a beautiful time to be here too, but it's like you don't want to wear any clothes. Like right now I'm wearing a hoodie, but I like being more naked, so I'm coming back in August. But we did a training and spent 2 weeks in the prison, got to know, like when I did the concert last year, I only got to meet the prisoners just for the concert. So this was actually going in, meeting with them 3 hours a day. And this is all sponsored by the CAA that also puts on the festival. So it really feels like a 30A event, and it's growing. The fact that they just did another 2 of the trainees that met with us in August, they just finished 2 weeks a couple days ago.
That's really good. I guess, is there a specific person or moment that has resonated with you in terms of just like the aha of the power of the art and the life experience kind of coming together, for somebody?
Yeah, what I recognized most was two particular inmates. One, first of all, none of the inmates mentioned their father except for one. And this one particular inmate had witnessed his father commit suicide at age 9, and you could tell it was still in his 50s. He was still that scar was something that he mentioned almost in every conversation. And then his song was a very spiritual based song. You could tell that he had, found some type of religion in his time behind bars, and was able to articulate that in a beautiful song about a father. But he was really talking about a heavenly father. But I knew from just like spending time with him that he was like really yearning for his own father. And I grew up in a family where I was raised by my grandparents. My mom's parents raised me, and so I haven't seen my own father since I was 7. So I really connected with this particular inmate. I almost said his name. I don't know if I'm allowed to say names. Yeah. And it was beautiful. And when he performed his song, he asked me to play fiddle underneath him. And so I was just playing like this fiddle drone, and you've got this man who's just singing this beautiful gospel tune. It was really moving.
That's really neat.
And then another inmate, a young guy who was only 25 years old. He'll spend the rest of his life in prison, no chance of parole, and he knew it, and he had embraced it, but not in a violent way or a destructive way, but in a way that he wants to create and he wants to inspire while he's behind bars, for the rest of his life. And he was just such an innocent. It just seems so innocent. Of course, I'm seeing a snapshot. I'm not naive enough to know that, like, I know that they have to deal with some very difficult situations and probably have to become different people in those situations. And so, but I was really honored to see this particular part of humanity, because, I can be very judgmental myself, and sitting next to somebody who has created, who has done something so terrible, it's hard not to feel like a negative energy in the space. But when you're creating something that's positive, even though they might be the saddest songs you ever heard or the most heartbreaking songs, not all of them are like that. A lot of them are inspiring. We got some wonderful raps and rhymes in there, some great rhythm players. I mean, it was cool beatboxing and stuff. Then we had some good old country music, good old Christian music. It was. We got all kind. That concert is a once in a lifetime event. Every time they do one.
That's amazing.
Like, you'll never see the same show twice.
Wow. All right. Well, I know that you spent some time as a youth minister, I think, in the ministry, and the perception and the reality of, I think, Christianity continues to evolve. I think some people forget that at the core of who Jesus was is he visited the poor, the old, the sick, and the prisoners.
Exactly.
Right. I guess how much of that background and those experiences sort of inspired you to go and write songs with prisoners?
Well, the last three and a half years, I've been writing songs with veterans in a therapeutic situation, dealing with their PTS, and it's through a program called Warrior Week. And so I've been doing that for 3.5 years, and that therapeutic element has always been in my songwriting, probably because I was in the ministry for so long. So I definitely have a heart for like mental health awareness. I grew up in a family. I survived 2 depressions, my mom's and mine, and so I was around a lot of sadness and a lot of heartbreak, and I spent time in a hospital myself as a young man, and so being around this kind of energy of needing healing and wanting healing was pretty. I just felt in my comfort zone. I felt like a minister again, in the sense of like talking them through their songs and their choices, and like some were afraid to talk about certain subjects, and some were more interested in like how does the rhyme scheme work? They wanted it to be like a song that sounded good, like they wanted it to be a pop hit or something. And so there's all these different elements to approach songwriting, but I approach it from a way of just like, there's like, learn more about yourself by everything you create. Because that's what I try to do. Like if I write a song, I'm using that to learn more about myself. Even as I was, before we got started, you know, I'm like speaking lyrics into my phone for my friend to sing harmony with me tonight and send to her. And as I'm speaking these lyrics, I'm like, it was resonating in a different way, like that particular lyric. And I just wrote that song a month ago, but now as I was saying it instead of singing it, I was like, oh my gosh. So my songs are constantly teaching me something about myself. And to me, I think that's the power of any kind of art. And that's the way I approached going in with these prisoners. I hate saying that word. I call them gentlemen, because they were very gentle and they were very, like, they just opened themselves up to create something beautiful. And anyway,
that's great. Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing.
Those years in the ministry with if you can deal with teenagers, you can deal with anything.
That's true. Yeah. What is the lock-in at the church?
Gosh. Oh yeah, dude.
Church lock-in.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe that in the 90s you had so much freedom. People just dropped their kids off and said, "Here, you can keep them for the night." And I'm like 22 years old with all these teenagers and hormones running wild, and I'm trying to make sure that they're not leaving the gym. Like, you stay here. No, y'all can't dance like that. It was really funny.
Yeah. Well, I guess back to North Georgia and Hiawassee, and I guess tell me about the campground and tell me about your granddaddy, because I know that huge influence in your life. And what's the campground that I keep seeing on your social media, and I think you're really doing some cool things around music there.
So I grew up in Hiawassee, Georgia. I was raised, like I said, by my maternal grandparents, Tom and Elsie Harvey. They raised me and my brother on this campground. My grandfather, after the war, was in the CCCs, and he helped build Moccasin Creek State Park and Vogel State Park in North Georgia. And he told his brothers, who were all with him in the CCCs, he told them, one day I'm going to have my own RV park. So after he retired, he moved up with my grandma to Hiawassee, built this 40-site campground called Mountain View Campground. It's a little quaint campground on Swallows Creek Road, still there. I don't own it anymore, but I still go back and perform shows at the little music barn my granddaddy built for me and my brother.
No way.
To entertain the campers.
How cool is that?
Yeah, in 1988, when I was 13 years old, he built this little 100-seat music barn, and it's just got the cool character. It's still standing, and I used to get up there after school and practice my singing. I would my granddad had a sound system put in. I would like come home from school, put on my Randy Travis record and sing Digging Up Bones, like till I got it perfectly, sounding just like him. Of course, I'm 13, so my voice was changing, and
that's really good.
It still goes deep. But
yeah.
No, that campground, my brother and I inherited it in 2014, I think. And yeah, we sold it in 2016, and I still live in Hiawassee, and I go visit it a lot and do shows there. I'll be doing my CD release show there later this year, and yeah, it's a special place.
It's neat.
Go visit it. PJ and Louie are the owners now, and they'll take good care of you. Mountain View Campground, Hiawassee, Georgia. You might see me, because sometimes I still get mail there, and they call me to come get a fine that I need to pay from the various tolls that I forget to across the country. That's usually why I go over there to get my fines.
Yeah. It sounds like 2025 is going to be a big year in terms of music.
It is.
And so I guess tell us about what's coming. And I'm really excited. I love when people sort of take historical themes and images or whatever and do a different twist. I love the name of the album that's going to come out. And I'll get into that in a second. But yeah, tell the folks what's coming, and how long have you been working on this?
I did a Kickstarter campaign in the fall of 23, so it's been a while. And all those wonderful people that supported my Kickstarter are wanting to see some results. And I recorded 15 songs at this little studio in Cleveland, Georgia, with my buddy Gavin Calzaretta, who has an amazing studio there. And we went in and brought in different friends that I have, different musicians, to kind of create this full band sound. It's not a live sounding album, but 11 of the 15 songs made the cut, and I'm going to release them probably as singles. I'm going to release about 8 singles starting March 28th. So the first single from the album is coming out March 28th, and I'm saying all that with my fingers crossed underneath the camera so you can't see. Like, that's the plan. And with the full album being released sometime after those 8, it will be in the fall, the whole album. But it's called Lies from the Lonesome Valley, and most of these songs are lies, maybe. You have to decide that for yourself. But yeah, I got some great people singing on there. Amy Ray of Indigo Girls is making an appearance, and she's honestly, I mean, probably one of my biggest inspirations of all time. I have been following her career since I can't remember, and she's just become a wonderful supporter of mine, and I can't even, it blows my mind to even say that. But she came in last April, it's been a while now, to sing on this song that was inspired by my granddaddy called I Done Told Juns. And you might have heard it live. I think you came to one of my shows. Yeah. But I was messing around joking about my granddaddy one sound check and how he used to holler at me and my brother when we were doing something wrong, and he would yell out the door, I done told juns.
Oh gosh.
You know, get back on those lawnmowers and cut that grass, because me and my brother, we would like lift the lawnmowers. We both had riding lawnmowers at the campground, and we would lift them up high and then race them down the hill like go-karts, because he wouldn't give us any four-wheelers or go-karts. So we just made them out of the four-wheelers, and he would get so mad at us. But yeah, so Amy is singing on, so it's going to be great hearing her say,
oh, awesome.
I done told juns.
Oh, man.
She's kind of like the voice of my grandfather in the song. Grace Pettis, who's also been
Grace.
at 30A. She's got some wonderful harmony vocals on this first single coming out, and then she also sings on another song of mine, and then everybody else that's appearing on the album are just really close, great friends. I got my one of my best friends, Zach Kilmer, a wonderful musician out of Murphy, North Carolina, who plays pedal steel and sings harmony. He's also in my band, the Riverstones, and he's got his own great band called Dead Bread and the Loafers out of Murphy, North Carolina. Then my duo partner most of the time, Miss Erin Worley out of Bryson City, North Carolina. She provides harmonies and clawhammer banjo. And then Rob Tiger is on there playing some banjo. He's an old friend of mine who has just been a great mentor. I've known him since I was a kid.
That's awesome. Yeah.
It's gonna be good. And then I got the rhythm section from stole the drummer from Sam Birchfield, his band. Great drummer Colin Agnew is on there. Another great drummer, James McCarthy. I better name all the cool. And then Ryan Plumley on guitar. My buddy Michael Jones out of Athens, Georgia, kicking some guitar on there. What else? I play all the strings, viola and violin, and I think that's
exciting.
All the
well,
hit.
so when I did see you last summer, it was the trio. Are those the Riverstones, or is that a different?
So a couple of years ago, I was actually down here at 30A. I decided when I go back, because I always kick off my year at 30A,
right.
And so I get like inspiration, like what do I want to do different this year? And then 3 years ago, in 2022, I was like, I gotta switch things up. I'm just like getting stagnant, and so I was like, I called some friends and said, hey, I've got 5 shows here that are kind of ticketed shows where I have a budget that I could, put a band together, and I secured all of them for those 5 shows from these people. And so then I made up a band name, the Riverstones, and we just like took off and had like these successful 5 shows in a row. So then I booked like 5 more shows throughout the year, and they were just fun, and it kind of gave a new buzz to my music and got me more energized about things. I started writing different style songs. Yeah. And but all of them had day jobs. Like they all like this. They just can only do it on the weekends when they can. And so the Riverstones now is just whatever I can put together.
Oh, so it's just
So if you get on stage with me tonight, I'll be like, Wyatt Espalin and the Riverstones is here, because I love that name. And so when you saw Zach, that was Zach and Aaron with me, and I'd love to have a rhythm section with that, but I'll do like our harmonies. I think we have a great little trio, and I love doing duo shows with both of them.
Yeah.
So, and they're all different. Like when I play with Aaron, you got that clawhammer, like Appalachian vibe. And then when I play with Zach, you have more of my groovier songs, and he's just an excellent guitar player.
So when I heard you, what it reminded me of, not that I was listening to them way back when, but based on, documentaries and things, it reminded me of, Bristol, Virginia,
Okay.
AP Carter, Maybelle
yeah.
Carter, and so, it's like that sound. And then when ahead of this interview, you're like, oh, my album's called Lives from the Lonesome Valley. I was like, oh my gosh, it makes so much sense.
I grew up, I just have that folk element, even though this album, there's definitely elements of folk in it, but it's got that electric guitar, pedal steel. There's just this kind of a Western sound. I was born in Los Angeles, and my spirit is always like in the West. And every time I go out, my brother lived in Arizona for years, and when I go visit my grandmother in California, my dad's mom is still alive in Los Angeles. When I go visit her, I just feel like a different kind of at home. I don't know how to explain it. Even though I was raised in the South, like, I don't know. I think I'm a West Coast. I'm supposed to be on the West Coast. I was supposed to be a movie star. Like, I was born close to Hollywood. I don't know why they took me out of Hollywood. With these cheekbones, I was supposed to be a movie star, but whatever. Now I'm an Appalachian songwriter. A hillbilly, so they say.
Yeah.
But yeah, that old kind of music. My granddaddy, raised me on all that. Emmylou Harris, at the time the Trio album came out, they're singing some of those old Carter family songs, and that Lonesome Valley song. My granddad used to sing that in the car. We'd be driving, or the truck. He would take me and my brother, and I just remember standing up, in the console on the console. We didn't do car seats back then.
Yeah.
And just riding around all these towns in North Georgia, and he's showing us where this is and that, and like my brother and I, neither one of us need a GPS usually anywhere. Like, if we can just like get our bearings, because our granddaddy was really good about teaching us directions, and but he would sing them old songs, and I had no idea that Lonesome Valley meant death, or that song was about like walking. You got to walk that Lonesome Valley all by yourself. When he would sing that, I just was like, Granddaddy, will I have to walk the Lonesome Valley? Oh, yeah, son, all by yourself. And I just remember being a kid, like being scared to death. I'm like, what the heck? And so when Amy came in the studio, she, of course, knew that song by the Carter family.
Sure.
So I gave her my mandolin, and I had the guitar, and we sat there and we did a little like AM radio sounding recording of the chorus of that song. So it may make an appearance on the album. I just was like, can we just get it just in case? Because I would love to go from I Done Told Yins to like this record scratch, like a radio changing channel, and then you hear me and Amy racing, and you got to walk that Lonesome Valley all by yourself.
Yeah. No, that's a really good story. So you're the song's about death, but in life, there's ebbs and flows, there's ups and downs. I guess, what are some of the valleys that you've had to kind of circumvent through your life?
Well, just growing up without my mother and father basically raising me and teaching me things. My mom was always around, but she didn't really raise us. And so, but I had a relationship with her. I would call that a deep valley, just going to school and feeling different than the other kids. Like, your mom and dad aren't cooking dinner tonight, and you're not sitting around the table. That was always felt like a low point for me, and I always was embarrassed. And my grandparents did their best to really treat us differently than their own kids, and treat us like grandkids, even though we were basically their kids. And then when I went to college, I had a bout with depression. My mom was going through some terrible things at that time, and so I was getting the brunt of that. Her and I had a kind of a codependent relationship for a long time. And so in college, I was going to school at Shorter College in Rome, Georgia, and I had to go a couple of months, 2 different times in the hospital. Stayed about a month each time. I tried to commit suicide at age 19, and that was probably the lowest point in my life. And then healing from that, I moved back home to Hiawassee. At the same time, my granny who raised me, I call her Granny, she was dying of COPD, and so that period of time was really special for me to kind of spend with her. I was glad I was able to be at the campground to help my grandfather,
Right.
help nurse her. And then I moved to Nashville and was feeling good, writing songs with my buddy. I was always either performing with my brother or my buddy Kobe Ferguson, he and I had a duo called Trees Leave, and we performed all over as like a little folk rock duo out of Nashville. And he,
You and your band names.
I know, man. Dude, I'm a writer. You got to be clever about this. You can't just be like Maroon 5. What the hell does that mean, Maroon 5? You know what I'm saying? I'm not making fun of them. Call me Adam. But like, I would love to collaborate. But Trees Leave.
Yeah,
that's
very clever.
They will. That's a very positive and a very negative way to look at it.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, that's fine. I was just going to say one of my peaks, not a valley, was performing as Trees Leave in that duo for about 7 years. We put out 2 albums. You can find one of them on Spotify. And then those are some of my best songs, I think.
Yeah.
And then after Kobe got married, he decided he didn't want to travel anymore. So I was kind of faced, well, do I want to play music by myself? I've either played music with my brother on stage or Kobe. Like, I don't know if I can do this by myself. So I went home and lived with I left Nashville, got rid of my condo, and went back to, I wish I had that still now. But,
yeah, seriously.
I went back to Georgia to take care of my granddaddy. Well, after 2 weeks living with him and getting his medication right, he was like ready for me to get the hell out again. I was like, all right, I'll leave again. So I became a raft guide on the Ocoee River. And that whole season of just doing something that I've never done before, I was always scared of the water, and I thought, this is the way I'm going to like get over this fear, just kind of be faced with it. And man, was I faced with it. That is a very scary job.
Seriously.
And I've got to do a public service announcement. If you ever go whitewater rafting, you are not on a roller coaster. It is not going to move without you paddling. So put your paddle in the water and give it your all when your guide tells you to. Oh, my gosh.
Did you have like class 4?
There's one class 4 on the section I did.
Yeah.
Some days it would be a class 5 when the
Okay.
rain, when it had rained, or
Yeah.
because what happens when the water gets up and there's a lot of rain, some of the more crazy rapids will wash out and it's not as crazy, but some of the other ones, like the shallower ones, can be gnarly. And so it can turn that way. But luckily, since I was a rookie, a newbie, they could assess if it was too dangerous for me to go out with a group of people.
Right.
But I remember on my birthday, my birthday's in the summer. I remember on my birthday, I took down 6 12-year-olds. And 12-year-olds like the youngest age, but these kids looked like they were 9 or 10. I was like, don't y'all eat chicken McNuggets anymore? And they were so light, they didn't even have to paddle. I said, just put your paddles down and enjoy the ride, because I was able to rafting
with the 10-year-old kids that were 12. Yeah.
I was like, man, if one of these kids falls out, they're gone.
Yeah,
They're gone.
seriously.
But they were fine.
Well, so thanks for sharing. Those valleys of your life. I think you've said once a writer is willing to mine those memories for some song material, the floodgates open and healing begins. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. If you don't use your art for healing yourself, I don't know what else you'd use it for. I mean, I started writing songs because someone wrote a song for me one time and called me in to their office and said, I wrote something for you. It was this woman that worked in our church when I was a teenager, and she was like a youth minister intern, and she was really great at guitar and was fun, wrote these fun little melodies. And she brought me into the office after church one night and said, I wrote something for you. And she sang this song, and I just remember feeling like, I want to be able to do that. I want to make other people feel that way. And so that was like my motivation at first. Like, I want to write a song for you. I want to write one for you. Oh, I'm going to write one for you, And then I finally had a turning point where I was like, no, I'm going to write these for me, because that's what matters, is like not to be selfish, but like I have to get myself right before I can give anything to anybody else. And so so that has really changed my perspective when I get on stage and do a performance. Now I am doing that for you, but when I write the songs, they're for me.
That's really good. So where do you think you are as an artist today, and where do you want to be?
Well, I'm pretty famous. I can't go to Publix right now. I'm just kidding. As an artist, man, I think I'm writing my best songs. I think I am seeing the world in a whole new way just by changing a lot of my perspectives. But, I'm also turning 50 this year, so this is like a big turning point in my life. And so I think those moments in our life kind of cause us to step back and readjust our perspective. I want to be available to other people. I want to be a light. I want to be an inspiration. I want to share my gifts, whatever that means. Like, I don't want to like hide it or like withhold it from anybody that could use that inspiration. That's the kind of artist I think I am. That's why I'm creating stuff. And so I'm being real meticulous about this album rollout, because I don't want these lies to get lost. If I release the whole thing and 11 songs, it's easy for a lot of them just to fall in the bucket and nobody hear it. So there's 8 of these songs that I'm just gonna like pump up, and like every 3 or 4 weeks, just whoever's listening, here's a new one. Because I got to get my numbers up. You got to play the game, the whole Spotify game. And, like I said, I'm going to be 50 years old. Like, it's not like you don't see a lot of 50-year-old men on there at the top of the charts, right? So.
Well, on that point, I turned 50 last April.
Oh, okay.
And I actually feared turning 30 more than 50.
Really?
But it's still a big number, right? It's been the best year of my life.
Everybody's telling me that. Are y'all delusional? Like,
no, it's a real thing, man.
Because when I say 50, I'm like, ugh. Like, no one's gonna go on a date with me. But you don't need to. I don't know. Most 50-year-olds like have family. They've got kids already. I didn't do none of that. I was like, no. I like I said, I worked with teenagers.
Sure.
So I was like, hell no, I'm not having kids.
That's good birth control there.
Yeah, I got out of the ministry when the kids started getting cell phones. I was like, okay, I'm done. Lord, you can have them back. You can have them back.
No, but don't fear 50. It could be a whole new chapter.
Well, I'm like thinking about it like that. I'm trying to like manifest all these images of me just having this bodacious body with this salt and pepper hair, and just like that guy that walks down the beach. It's like, look what I've been doing at the gym all week, that kind of thing. Because I've never been that guy before. I thought, well, maybe that'll be my new persona.
So you've made it a point to talk about how, and I don't know if this relates back to the lies from Lonesome Valley, but that you're intentional about being single.
I was for a long time. Yeah. And then COVID happened, and I can't cook. So I was like, this was a mistake. What was I thinking? So after COVID kind of calmed down and things started opening back up, I even started manifesting more of like relationships happening in my songs. Like started writing more about relationships working out rather than falling apart and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I've kind of opened myself up to dating. I've been dating all year. This year I've spent a lot of money on, last year I spent a lot of money on dates. That's probably why I didn't do it in the past. It's expensive.
What are the women like in Hiawassee?
I don't date women in Hiawassee. I went to school with all of them. I hit the neighboring towns up. I don't know how to explain my type, because I'm still figuring that out. Like,
what's your love language?
My love language is see, you're asking. These are all new things in my life that I'm exploring. My love language would be I don't know. I don't know. What are the different? I don't even know.
All right, so
I don't know.
there's acts of service.
Okay. Tell me what the love languages are.
Acts
We're gonna figure this out
All right.
live on air.
Acts of service.
Okay.
Giving gifts.
Okay.
Physical touch.
That's not me.
Words of affirmation. And I think there's another one, but
I don't think I.
no wonder. No.
No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I'm a toucher. I like touch. I mean, I like to give gifts.
Yeah.
I like to, take people out and.
Yeah. Your music's probably a gift.
Well, I mean, the last thing I do on a date is say, "Hey, you want to hear this new song I wrote?" I don't do that. You can. So if you're only going to date with me, I promise that you won't have to like judge my new songs, unless you ask. It's going to be up to you. I think that I think my love language would be. I mean, I definitely. I can't say this with a straight face. I like to give.
Okay. All right.
That's not my love language.
All right, that works. All right, so last but not least, I think curiosity is underrated. In relationships. Speaking of relationships, family, corporate world, jobs, whatever. I just think that people talk a lot and they don't listen and they don't ask questions, right? So, I guess what I'd like to ask you now is, now on the verge of turning 50, today, what are you most curious about?
I am, since I've been saying this word all weekend, or since I got down here, capable, like in terms of the inmates, finding out what they're capable of. I am curious at what else am I capable of. I would say that's what's on my brain right now.
I love that. Yeah,
So.
I love that. All right. Well, I know you're capable of a lot. So, Wyatt, really appreciate your time. It's so good to see you down here in Florida. We have to get you back to the backyard show that me and my friends put on there in Roswell, and we'll have to do that this summer. But we'd love to hear some music now. Could you play some tunes?
Sure, I will.
All right.
This song's called "You Had It All."
If you had it all, but couldn't take it with you, would you leave it on the train? If you had it all, would that fire burn within you like a keeper of a flame? What if you had it all and there was more I could give you, would you come back again? What if you had it all, but couldn't take it with you? All you lost, all you chose, all your drops in the bucket. All the research shows when you get there, they make you empty your pockets. Stand in a big long line, read the sign, it says, oh, you can't take it with you. If you had it all, would you count it as a blessing? Would you try to make it rain? If you had it all, would all that manifesting leave you feeling like a king? If you had it all, would you finally take a rest or take another swing? What if you had it all, but couldn't take it with you? All you lost, all you chose, all your drops in the bucket. All the research shows when you get there, they make you empty your pockets. Stand in a big long line, read the sign, it says, oh, you can't take it with you. Would you even think to pray? Would you keep the line open? If you had it all, could you live another day just wishing and hoping? If you had it all, would your mercy find its way to an old friend? What if you had it all, but couldn't take it with you? What if you had it all? You had it all. If you had it all, you had it all. Oh, you had it all.
This song is called Dim.
Say we gotta talk this out. She said there's nothing left to say. Oh, what will we talk about? Said I've been counting your stars. Why do you let them fall? She said they wanna run away. Yeah, they would never mind at all. I took the lake for a swim. She still ain't over him, but she thinks we sound alike when the night goes dim. So let me hold her now till he renews his veil, and I'll sink to the bottom, try to drown out the sound. I took the wind for a ride, she can't be satisfied. We went down Bent Creek where that cooker hides. Said, what about your dreams? Can't you hear them calling? She said they want to run away, yeah, they would never mind at all. She said they want to run away, yeah, they would never mind at all.
Something like that. Little Appalachian holler. Thank you.